Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be talking all about the Italian Challenge event that Wargaming announced yesterday, and how you can get your hands on a whole series of awesome loot, and also, if you've got a lot of time on your hands, how to get the brand new Italian auto-reloading Tier 8 Premium Medium tank for completely free. But I stress, if you've got a lot of time on your hands. So the event starts tomorrow on the 13th and runs for 2 weeks on the European server. But I believe this is also available on the North American server and also the Asian server as well. And it works a little differently compared to the standard mission marathon in World of Tanks, where usually you have to do a mission every single day, and that's the challenge, remembering to play every single day of the week. However, the Italian challenge is completely different because you have no time limit apart from the 2-week event period, and you can kind of play at your own pace, as you have to complete a series of 10 challenges to eventually get towards the Progetto. And I personally think that's really cool because some players have more time to play on the weekends, or maybe during the week, or maybe you play at nights or during the day. Now the challenge gets progressively harder and harder as you complete the stages, but the rewards are substantial. There's premium account time, credits, there's even unique camouflage that you can apply to your Progetto, and a whole series of personal rewards. Some of them, like the credit boosters, are absolutely fantastic for making loads and loads and loads of filthy currency. One other interesting thing about this challenge is that there are 2 ways to complete it. You can either try and be skillful in your tier 10 vehicles, or alternatively you can just play tier 6 to 10, and it really is a grindy marathon. So as we see here at stage 1, all you have to do in a tier 10 tank is get a high caliber medal. But if you absolutely hate tier 10, then alternatively you can get 5,000 base experience points when you finish in the top 10 players on your team via experience. That's going to make all of the bots not get anything. And as you go up the stages, the requirements become harder and harder. For example, at stage 7, now you have to finish the battle as the top player on your team by experience 15 times in a tier 10 vehicle, or alternatively get 40,000 experience in your tier 6 to tier 10 vehicles. Now the other cool thing about these stages is that while you do get these rather nice rewards, there's also one thing that's very important, and that is a discount off the Progetto if you want to purchase it in the game shop. So for example, if you reach stage 5, you get 50% off the Progetto price. And so that could allow players who maybe have a job and are too busy to be able to complete the entire marathon and get the vehicle for free to still get a very healthy discount off the tank. But of course, in true QuickyBaby fashion, I decided to try and figure out how much time I would actually have to invest into this mission marathon to be able to get the vehicle for free. Now if this looks scary, let me try and break it down for you. I haven't tried to make it pretty, but the information is there. Firstly, you see the mission requirements if you want to try and take the fast lane, so to say, in your tier 10 vehicles, which I would argue is for tier 10 players, and very skilled tier 10 players at that. The line over here is what I'm calling the grind, and that's how much experience you have to get at every single stage. Now remember, this is base experience points, and I feel that I can probably squeeze out about 800 average base experience points. That's 1,200 with a premium account, and that is what you can see here. But I think a more realistic average experience is probably about 500, that I think that probably about half of the World of Tanks population can achieve per game. Now the interesting thing for me is, because I've got my tier 10 vehicles and I do feel fairly competitive in some of them at least, I kind of have to choose about which stage I'm going to try and achieve. And so for example, the first mission, which is to just get 1 high caliber medal, I think I can probably do that in about 4 games. While alternatively, I think it will take me about 7 games with 800 average base experience points to be able to get the 5,000 experience. Now remember, there's one very important thing to take into account here, and that is that if you try and go for the mastery missions, you don't have to finish in the top 10 of your experience. Whereas if you want to try and go the grindy route, you do have to finish in the top 10 of experience. And so I factored this in here, as I feel that I can finish in the top 10 players 7 out of 8 times. However, I feel that the average player is probably only going to finish in the top 10, maybe 2 out of 3 times. And so just to quickly work my way down the list, I think it's going to take me about 15 games to block 4,000 damage 5 times, i.e. 1 in 3 games. I think I can finish top on damage probably 1 in 2 games, so I think that'll take me 10. And yada 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 all the way down the list, which gives me a total of 274 games played in tier 10 tanks for me to complete this. And I think that each tier 10 game lasts for on average about 7 7 minutes, and so it'll take me just under 32 hours to be able to get the Progetto for free. However, alternatively, I might just want to play between tier 6 and tier 10 and not care about playing tier 10 vehicles and trying really hard to complete mission requirements in them. And if I want to do that, I feel like it's going to take me 446 games of World of Tanks. But I think that the games are going to be faster. I don't think that the average game at tier 6 lasts 7 minutes. It's probably closer to 5. And so I think it's going to take me 37 hours to be able to complete the event if I decide to grind through it, and that is that I'm getting 800 average experience, and I'm also finishing in the top 10 7 out of 8 games. However, for the average player, I think it's going to take substantially longer. Now, this is getting 500 average experience and finishing in the top 10 of experience in 2 out of 3 games. And I feel it would take the player 936 games to achieve this, which I've worked out as a total of 78 hours played. However, many of you out there might feel that you're a below average player. How likely is it that you're going to be able to get the Progetto for free? Well, if you're getting 100 average experience per game, then it's going to take you 3,120 games. So now I want to move on to probably the most important table if you want to figure out how long it's going to take you to be able to get the Progetto for free. Here we can see average experience and the total number of games that I estimate that it will take a player to get through the grindy route. Next, the number of games they'll have to play every single day and the time that they will be required to do it. Now, there's one important thing that I would like to factor in here, and that is that I've estimated the number of times that a player, based on their average experience, will finish in the top 10 out of 15 players. And I think that a player who's getting 100 base average experience will be finishing in the top 10 1 in 2 times. Well, I think a player who's getting 300 base experience will probably be finishing in the top 10 maybe 3 out of 5 times. And if you're getting 500 base experience, I think you're probably finishing in the top 10 2/3 of times. Then you're moving on to 3/4 at 600, maybe 4/5 at 700, and then I think probably 7 out of 8 times if you're getting 800 base average experience. And so this is something that a lot of people have not taken into account of their calculations of how long this is going to take. That really finishing in the top 10 of experience is there to stop bots from being able to participate in events, but what happens when you just have a real bad game, right? Only 2/3 of the players in the games are going to be contributing towards their experience goal, irrelevant of whether they win or whether they lose. And so this means that if you're getting 100 average experience, it's going to take you 37 hours a day. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be possible. While if you're getting 300 average experience, I think it'll take you 10 hours a day. I think an average player who's getting 500 experience, it will take you nearly 6 hours a day if you want to get the Progetto for free. While if you're very exceptional in a specific tank and getting 800 average experience per game, it'll take you 2.65 hours a day over the 2-week period. But remember that the stages get harder and harder and harder, right? So maybe some of you out there are not trying to look to get the Progetto completely for free, but looking to see maybe how much of a discount you can get off the tank. Well, that's where this column and also this column come into effect. For me personally, I think that I can get to stage 3 within an evening of playing, and that will net me a 30% discount off the vehicle. But as we can see, the time that it will take me to get from stage 3 to stage 4 to increase my discount from 30% to 40%, I'm going to have to invest another 4 hours. And so this really here is the big jump. The 30,000 experience I think is going to lock a lot of people out of the competition. Now, if you're a complete average player getting 500 experience per game, I think that you should be able to invest 1 hour a day and still be able to complete the first 4 stages. And that will give you a 40% discount off the Progetto. Now let's think, what's the most expensive premium tank that Wargaming have ever released? Well, obviously in a non-bundled form, I think it's about 45 euros. So if you play for an hour a day, if they sell the Progetto for 45 euros, then how much of a discount is that going to be? Well, you're going to get 18 euros off the 45 price. So you're going to get the Progetto for 27 euros. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but it's a lot better than it could be. Now, of course, it totally depends on what the price is going to be of the tank, right? But as we can see, it progressively takes you longer and longer and longer to be able to get through the stages. And slowly but surely, towards the end of the stages, you're having to invest 10 hours to save yourself probably 4 euros. And so I really don't think that's going to be worth it for the majority of people. And so quickly to conclude this video, if you are a below average player, this is not going to be possible for you to get through this event, at least in my opinion, unless you want to no-life it and be playing 10 hours per day. So don't try. But of course, maybe you can easily get yourself through the first 3 or 4, possibly even 5 stages if you really try very hard. And then you could pick up the Progetto for maybe between about 20 euros, about that, depending on, of course, how Wargaming price it. But also, if you're a complete average player, be very careful about whether you're going to try and complete this challenge. Because I think that it's going to take the average player getting 500 base experience per game, 6 hours per day for 2 weeks to be able to get this tank. But of course, that's if you want to get it completely for free, because you might find yourself in 2 weeks time just not quite being able to complete stage 9 or stage 10, and that will still give you an 80 or a 90% discount off the vehicle. But just make sure you've got those kind of like €5 that you'll need left over to be able to purchase the tank. And finally, if you're an exceptionally skilled player, then you should be able to get your hands on a Progetto completely for free without having to rack up too many hours over this 2-week period. And you're going to get yourself some of the nicest rewards that Wargaming has ever put out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I know this was a whole series of numbers and stats, but I really felt like I wanted to help all of you out there who are thinking, can I do this event? Will it be possible for me? The most important thing about these events is to make sure that you are fully prepared with the amount of time you're going to have to invest and to organize it well. Look, this is a game, and the best thing that I can recommend to all of you is to realize that while this is a novel tank, it's exciting because it's an Italian tank. It's pixels in a video game. If you've got exams coming up, don't bother doing this. Go and focus on your exams. Ignore this. It will be completely meaningless to you in months or years from now, but your exams certainly will not be. Or alternatively, if you're having to work hard at your job or your family needs you, you've got responsibilities there. Again, this is pixels on a screen. Look at how much time you're going to have to invest per day, even if you're an exceptionally skilled player, and think about everything that you could achieve in your life with that time. This is a game. It's meant to be fun. I have seen so many players try and approach these mission marathons and burn themselves out completely and then end up hating the game completely and then maybe moving on to something else. And then they kind of get rid of all of the tanks in their garage in a way, all those hours that they've put in to try and collect them, or even get your credit card out and pay for them, and then you end up kind of starting to hate the game that you love in the first place. So be careful, approach this rationally, realize that the final stages are very, very hard to complete, and that it's most likely that you're probably going to have to spend between 5 and 20 euros to purchase the Progetto. Otherwise, I guess you've kind of maybe wasted your time a little bit along the way. But looking at it from the other side, just the rewards that Wargaming are giving us if you don't care about this tank whatsoever and you just want to get a load of credits and get a load of boosters are absolutely fantastic. And so lots of treats ahead. So hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. But if you hated it, give it a thumbs down and let me know in the comments whether you're going to be trying to attempt this Italian challenge. And do you feel that the skill-based games are possible? Or are you more likely eyeing up the kind of grindy experience playing between tier 6, tier 10, just enjoying the game like that? And what stage are you going to try to target? And are you going to try and get a specific amount of discount off the Progetto, or will you just ignore it and go for the consumable and the credits rewards? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.